Hi students, for this video we're going to talk about how to calculate the area of a rectangle, a triangle, and a trapezoid. So the big idea is we are always depending on the base and the height. So here's a table of the formulas we're going to use. First, let's look at the first column. We have a rectangle and a parallelogram. But basically a rectangle is a parallelogram. So we're looking for the base and the height. For a rectangle, we can also refer to it as width and length, but here I'm just going to call this base, this the height. For the parallelogram, that's the base, and this is the height. When we say the base, it's always on the bottom because that's kind of how base works. As for how we kind of find the area, it's going to be the base times the height for parallelogram. As for a triangle, if you didn't notice, a triangle is inside a rectangle or parallelogram, and it's basically half of it. So it's base, which is right here, times height, then divided by 2. That is the key. So you remember that triangle is always going to be divided by 2. Next, a trapezoid. Same thing, base times height divided by 2. The only difference is this time for trapezoid, we have a B1, which is the top base, and we have a B2, which is the bottom base. And we add them together, then divided by 2, then times the height. Another thing is the relationship between base and height. The base will always form a 90-degree angle with the height. So that's a 90 degree, that is a 90 degree, 90 degree right here, 90 degree right here. So we're not going to say this is the height because that's not directly perpendicular or making a 90-degree angle with the base. Now that we have seen all these formulas, let's get to some examples. First, a triangle. From the table, we saw the triangle, the area is base times height, then divided by 2. So the first thing is we need to identify our base. And the base and the height will always make a right angle or 90 degrees. So we see a 90-degree angle right here, which means the lines next to it, one must be the base, one must be the height. So this is the base because the base is always a side of the triangle. These two are basically redundant information. We don't need them. That is the base, and this is the height. So in order to calculate the area, we're going to use 9 meters times 5 meters and divided by 2. That would give you 22.5 meter squared. Don't forget this meter squared because we have meter times meter. Example 2, trapezoid. A equals a B1 with the top base plus B2 the bottom base divided by 2 times the height. In this case, that is the top base because it's on the top. That's the bottom base, and we have a height right here. So now let's put these numbers into the formula. B1 is 5, B2 is 7 divided by 2, and we multiply it with the height, which is 9. 5 times plus 7, that's 12 divided by 2, 6 times 9, that gives us 54. Last thing, don't forget the unit, centimeter. Next, we have a rectangle, or it's a special parallelogram. So we have the base and the height, because these angles, they're all 90-degree angles. That's 90 degree, that's 90 degree, that's 90 degree. So basically the base and the height for a rectangle are just the two sides. So the area is base height, which is 8 times 4, which is 32 inches square. Last question. Now it's a parallelogram. The area formula is still base times height. And we need to identify our base and the height. 2 feet, that's on the bottom, so base. The height is, remember, the height and the base form a 90-degree angle. And the 90-degree angle is right there, which means this other line has to be the height. This is not the height because that angle doesn't look like a 90-degree angle. So for calculate area, that is going to be 2 times 7, which is 3.14. Don't forget a unit, which is feet squared. And that is everything for area. Thank you.